All right, so this is the final class. In a way, it is this is culmination of everything we did. So I'm really excited about today's class because this is the class where I'll learn from you. Okay, so that's why it's very important class. And usually, I learn more from you than you learn from me, partly because this is something is done, not done before. Um, okay, so couple of wrap up announcement about grades. Homework is 5% of your grade. Assume that all of you are getting 100%. Okay, so that's just the TA is already evaluating or evaluated. I will check with him. But most of we don't take points off because we don't want to emphasize homework as the most important part of this class. The reason for homework is to for you to prepare for the midterms, which is 30% of your grade. And TA has already graded some questions. I am grading some other questions, and I'll also go over every questions what he graded so that it's approved. So I'll release that this weekend. So you have until Friday. So I'll send you an email when I release all the grades for the homeworks and midterms. Sometimes what happens is if you send me midterms, TA doesn't have it, there will be some change in grade in the sense that I have not updated it. So that's why it's important for you to check your grades. If you have submitted like let's say submitted homeworks, but you don't see the grade there, send me an email. That way we'll find out because I don't want you to lose point for our mistakes. So you have until Friday, that's March 19th, the last day of the final weeks, to let us know. Okay, so that way I will check anything and everything and update in the weekend of that week, and then most likely on Monday, Tuesday, or something I'll finalize. But I'll send an email to you that I will this grade will be final unless I hear from you. So then I'll release the final grade. So you have two chance for me to know any issues about your grades. Okay, mostly for homeworks and midterms. Grade for quizzes are final. So you have 4 quizzes and best of 3. So that's something already what you got. No, so there is nothing changed there. So that's final. And that's 15% of your grade. Participation credit is 5% of the grade, and you all got it. Okay, so as a team, you participate, you met me, so that's how you got the grades, 5%. Final report, which is nearly 50%, not 50, 45% of your grade. But you have already got 5% for topics, 10% for outline, and rough draft is 30% of your grade. I'll get to that. So you are yet to earn 30% for rough draft, class presentation 10%, and final report, which will be another 45% of that 45% grade. Okay. And presentation is due before the class today if you are submitting as a link. But if you are not, you are going to discuss in the class or live. Just to give a point, presentation again, send me the link, and also I'll record it. So when each team goes for recording, I'll record and start the recording, and I'll also stop the recording. The reason is I want to keep that as a separate videos. Um, or we can combine all of them as one. That's all. That's why we want to put all of them who are alive to go first, so that I can record it part of the class. And again, this is 10%. Presentation is 10% of your final project, which is means if your final project is 45 points, that means your presentation is 4.5% of total credit. Evaluation of your presentation is based on content, delivery, storytelling. And in my experience, I don't take much point off. If you're presenting, this is where not you lose point much. But you lose point if you don't have any submissions or you didn't present. Okay, so that's where low grade. Rough draft. Here is the things I didn't tell you before is that I don't take points for rough draft. Okay, as long as you have submitted, as long as you have made an effort, you get all fun 100% of the rough draft. Because in real world, you'll not be penalized for writing. Okay, you'll be your penalty is because if you write, when you submit the actual report to your client and client is unhappy, that's where you get the flag. Okay, so that means you'll receive feedbacks to improve it and everything else. Okay, so your comments or your final reports, the point where you lose points is after I give you feedback. Okay, I gave you feedback, you now know the concern or know the issues, and now your chance to revise it. Okay, so if you do not revise and submit as it is, then you lose some point. Okay, so that means you have already got majority of 45 points by already by now. Okay, so that's why I say it's very difficult to receive a credit for less than B in this class. It's impossible almost. If you are submitting everything, you are accumulating points. Okay, and again, and the whole reason for it is to not make you worry about your grades, but rather focus on your creativity, because you'll the least you can receive is B. Okay, if you don't do anything else, just to bare minimum, which is basically in other class C or D. If you're really performing poorly, here there is no poor performance. Here is about learning. Okay, so that's why I said the rough draft. If you as long as you have submitted and revise it, you got your 30% of the project point, which is 13.5% of the total grade. The final draft, which is the maximum point, 45% of your 45 point, which is 20 point. That means if you, let's say, if you submit the final report as your fine rough draft, obviously you'll receive some point. You'll not receive 100% of it. You'll receive some of it because this is what it is. So that's why I say, so your evaluation will be based on how you address the comments I sent you, because if I identify a problems, you don't have to address all comments, but at least if you don't address, you have to tell me what the reason is. It's always a feedback process, because I might be wrong. Some point I said do this one, but then you say that no, the calculation shows that this is the correct answers. So this is a feedback process. Okay. Typically, students get 90% or above in the total credits of the final draft. Okay, so that's the nature of it now, because you have long time, a week, or you just basically address the comments. So you go specifically change those, not much. So that's why I said no. This is a you take your time to do it. It doesn't matter when you submit, but it's you have to submit before Friday next week. So common mistakes are that less number of references or references in incorrect format. Incorrect format. So like I said, sometimes people cite 1, 2, 3, but not in the right sequence. And so look at those consistent reference format. Figures tables are there, but they are not cited in the text. So I don't know where it is discussed in the actual report. So you got to have linked. Narrative is very wordy, like you just talk about a lot of things without really talking about the main point. So I usually highlight those, so I'll tell you that this is just too much. Just make it simple. Unclear writing, that's something that I'm not looking for perfect writing, because it's a process. You just have one quarter, but I'll highlight some of the issues so that you can at least give an effort to revise the rest of the text based on similar comments. Poor analysis or discussion. So this is one place I really read intently, like how you discuss, because you can write introductions, you can write something like background very easily because that's been written somewhere else. But for your side or your problem, how you exactly discuss and think of different aspect of it is the main point of this report. So I look at those and I see how much you really try to brainstorm on that. And finally, aesthetic, something how, you got to have page number, you got to have text and everything looks nice. So when you make a final draft, you send me as a PDF. You can send as a Google Doc, but you can send as a PDF. That way I can see how it looks. That way it is 10 page and all that aspect of it. And so again, 10 page means, it has to be from abstract. Title page is not included. in that 10 page limit. So abstract to all the way to conclusion. References, all that doesn't have to, because that way you can add as many reference you want. But if you include reference file, again, 10 page is maximum. If you send me 9 page, it's not a problem. Okay. But if you send me 11 page, that's above the limit. So just check on that. Um, so those are the common mistakes. But then finally, I want to say that this class is give you most realistic experience of the project management. If you work on a consulting company, you'll this is how you're going to write report, this is how you're going to talk with teams. So I know that's challenging for you guys to meet with each other, but that's part of the problem, or part of the solutions or experience that you're learning, how to work as a team, how to involve with each other. So all that. um, and then um, I want to, okay, I think one more. Working again, as I said, working with a team, writing report, communicating your findings is 99 or 90% of your job in industry or academia. Not in grad school, I'm talking about real job, okay? Um, so when you join a real job after your undergrad, you are thinking that you learn all this class and you have all this theory and you want to talk about those concept, redox equation, all that. Never. Okay. um, like some I saw like a cartoon, somebody says that you learn all this mathematical concept, all the calculus, everything, and the end you are working in analytic companies, and then all you are doing is excel. Okay. So that's exactly the point. You learn all this concept, but you're not going to use those concepts ever. Those will help you how to think. Uh, what you really need in the real world is very small, very minimum thing. And 90% of them are communications. Communication in writing, communication in thinking, communication in presenting. So that's why this class give you some idea of how to experience it. Okay. This is obviously a very low intense version of it. In real world, it will be much more intense management. There are a lot of other aspect of it. And third thing, which is very important, I think you got to mention that many of the class you, even in this class, in the quiz, if you have a wrong answer, you will lose point completely. So that's not the case in real world. Any engineering solution do not have a correct answer. Like now, this is the, but there is a best answer for a current situations, because real world problems are very complex. It's very difficult to find the perfect solution. So you are optimizing it. So there is never a solutions. And second thing, it's open book all the time. Okay, so you have all the resource to find out, search online, everything else, and to make your judgment or create your find your solutions. So that's how, there's many of the exam questions are. That's why it's open book exams, everything. So the way we tested you here is to focus on your creativity as well as your ability to gather information and think. So having said that, I really enjoy this format because of multiple reasons. Because it takes away pressure from you, even though there is a pressure for exam homework, it's not as much as the traditional class. Okay, and I hope the exams and quiz are reflective of the homeworks that you did, and it gives you some ability or experience to work on real world problems, not just to work on theory, but also to understand how you can apply this in the real world. And then also I learned from you. That's the best part of this class, because I don't know everything. I don't Nobody knows everything, and I even though I teach a class, I learn every quarters new things. And so I learn every time I read your report, see what you found. So I always look forward to reading those reports. So I'll give you feedbacks. Send me an email by, if by in the morning when you wake up, you don't have a comments from me. Send me an email first thing and say that no, you didn't receive, because that means either I missed getting your emails or somewhere I'm not finding it. My job today and tomorrow. Today I'm going to definitely send everything I received, but just in case I missed something, send me an email early in the morning and send me your link of the Google Drive or the Google doc with your report so that I can send you first thing in the morning. Having said that, so that's all about the class today. We'll look for all the presentations, and also you guys received the evaluations, class evaluation. If you have not got a chance to give feedbacks, please do so. I'll also remind you. I'll send you email time to time. But I think it's the due is by Friday. It's by Saturday, something Saturday noon or something. So you have basically 1 or 2 days maximum to. I think not even 2 days, less than 2 days to give your feedback. Okay, so that's all from me. So let's start with presentations, which is the best part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording now, for this is a different portion than the actual class presentation, that I have two videos.